It all begins thousands of years ago, long before the pyramids of Egypt were even built. There existed a nation called Kondak, where the people lived under the rule of a mighty king. For centuries, the people of Kondak dreamed of making their land the most powerful kingdom in the world. However, when a ruthless king named Akhtan ascended to the throne, everything changed. Akhtan was known as the cruelest ruler of his time, using his mighty army to oppress his people. But his real power came from his knowledge of dark magic. His ultimate goal was to create the legendary Crown of Sabak, a powerful artifact that would make him invincible. To forge this crown, he needed a rare magical stone called Eternium, found only in the land of Kondak. Determined to fulfill his ambition, Akhtan enslaved his own people and forced them to mine Eternium from the depths of the land. Whenever a slave found a piece of the stone, they would rush to hand it over to the watchman, hoping to receive a reward in return. However, desperation ran deep among the people, and often other slaves would attack and steal the stone before it could be delivered. Amidst this chaos, we meet a young slave named Zhao, who finds a piece of Eternium. As other slaves try to snatch it from him, a boy named Haru intervenes and helps Zhao reach a soldier safely. But when Zhao asks for his reward, the soldier mercilessly stabs him and throws him off a cliff. Haru watches this horrifying scene in shock, his heart pounding with fear and anger. His father quickly pulls him away, warning him that rebellion would only lead to death, just like those who had tried before. However, Haru was not willing to live under oppression. He was determined to free his people. One day, Haru manages to steal a piece of Eternium from a soldier. Holding it high, he carves a symbol of freedom into the ground, igniting a spark of rebellion in the hearts of the enslaved people. King Akhtan, aware that even the smallest spark could grow into a raging fire, orders Haru to be executed publicly. Even at the brink of death, Haru does not waver. He continues to chant for freedom as the executioner prepares to behead him. But just before the blade falls, a miracle occurs. The mystical protectors of the earth intervene, choosing Haru as their champion to restore peace. They bless him with the powers of the ancient gods, transforming him into an incredibly powerful warrior. By this time, however, Akhtan had already forged the Crown of Sabak, imbuing himself with dark and terrifying abilities. A fierce battle erupts between Haru and Akhtan inside the royal palace, shaking the very foundations of Kondak. The fight is so intense that the palace crumbles into ruins. But in the end, Haru emerges victorious. Before his defeat, however, Akhtan hides the Crown of Sabak so that no mortal may ever wield its power again. After that day, Haru mysteriously vanishes, never to be seen again. But legend has it that when the people of Kondak cry out for salvation, their champion will return to free them once more. Now, in the present day, the land of Kondak is under foreign occupation by a militant group called Intergang. The people live in fear, unable to move freely without presenting identification papers to armed guards stationed at the borders. One day, a 14-year-old boy named Amon attempts to sneak past the border on his skateboard. However, a guard catches him and orders him to stand in the inspection line. When Amon insults the guard, the man turns his attention to a vehicle driven by a man named Karim, instructing him to proceed. Checking his wrist-mounted scanner, the guard sees an alert for a fugitive named Adriana, Amon's mother. As the scene unfolds, we see that Adriana is hiding inside Karim's van while Amon runs alongside the vehicle. Their mission? To find the legendary Crown of Sabak, an artifact lost in the pages of history. Amon wanted to join the mission, but his mother, Adriana, somehow convinced him to go back home. Following the map, Adriana, Karim, and their team reached a mountain where the legendary Crown of Sabak was said to be hidden. Before proceeding, Adriana looked at a pendant given to her by her grandmother, an heirloom made from Eternium. Samir, one of their companions, joked that if she sold it on the black market, she could make a fortune. However, Adriana valued the pendant deeply, as it had been in her family for generations. Karim, her brother and their driver, playfully remarked, "She gets the pendant, and all I inherited was an old coat and baldness." Once they arrived at the mountain, the three of them began searching for the crown, while Karim stayed behind in the vehicle to keep watch. As they ventured deeper into the mountain, Ismail suddenly disappeared. Concerned, Samir went looking for him. Meanwhile, outside, Kareem was casually listening to music in his car when he suddenly saw Samir falling from the mountain. He rushed to help him, but before he could react, several soldiers surrounded him with their weapons drawn. Inside the mountain, Adriana was startled when Ismail suddenly appeared before her. She anxiously asked about Samir, to which Ismail jokingly replied, "He just went to get some fresh air." Soon, they reached the ancient tomb of Teth Adam, and just a little further ahead, they finally spotted the crown of Sabak. Without hesitation, Adriana leaped between two massive rocks and retrieved the crown. At the same moment, the soldiers who had captured Karim stormed into the cave and arrested Ismail. As the soldiers took him away, Ismail shouted at Adriana to run. However, their leader held a gun to Karim's head, forcing Adriana to surrender in order to save her brother. In a desperate move, she knelt before Teth Adam's tomb and recited an ancient incantation. Suddenly, a blinding light filled the cave, and a mysterious figure appeared before them. Without hesitation, this powerful being lifted one of the soldiers and electrocuted him with immense energy. The remaining soldiers immediately opened fire, but their bullets had no effect. Seizing the opportunity, Adriana and Karim grabbed the crown and made a run for it. Meanwhile, the mysterious warrior, using his super speed, obliterated the remaining soldiers within seconds. As Adriana was escaping with the crown, a massive boulder was about to fall on her. But just in time, the warrior saved her life. This mighty figure was none other than Black Adam, who had been imprisoned in the mountain for thousands of years. Now, finally free, Black Adam found himself facing new enemies. A squadron of helicopters arrived, attacking him with heavy artillery. He was astonished by how much mankind had advanced in his absence. Unfazed, he used his incredible strength to destroy the helicopters by slamming them into each other, causing a fiery explosion. Meanwhile, Adriana and Karim managed to reach their van and quickly drove away. Adriana excitedly told Karim that she had successfully retrieved the crown and completed their mission. But just a short distance away, an intense battle was still raging. Black Adam single-handedly destroyed the incoming military vehicles with his godlike powers. Eventually, after annihilating everything around him, he landed in front of Adriana's van. However, before anyone could react, one last surviving soldier threw a powerful explosive at him. Yet even this massive explosion failed to harm Black Adam. And with that, he turned his attention toward the final soldier, ready to unleash his fury once again. Black Adam eliminated the last soldier and, in a slightly injured state, walked away. Karim sighed in relief, thinking, finally, the brute is gone. But just as he relaxed, Black Adam, weakened by his wounds, collapsed and fell back to the ground. Meanwhile, inside the mountain, Ismail was still present. He received a call from one of his terrorist group members. It turned out that Ismail was an undercover agent who had infiltrated Adriana's team to obtain the crown of Sabak. However, his mission had failed. Now, he had no choice but to track Adriana down and steal the crown from her. Elsewhere, when Hawkman learned that Black Adam had awakened, he immediately ordered his superhero team into action. This team, called the Justice Society, included Cyclone, a young woman with the power to control wind; Atom Smasher, a hero who could alter his body size at will; Dr. Fate, the most powerful member with mystical abilities and visions of the future. Following Hawkman's orders, the three superheroes arrived at his mansion in the USA. They were quickly briefed on their international mission, to travel to Kahndaq and capture the superhuman known as Black Adam. Without wasting time, they boarded a high-tech aircraft. Hawkman informed them that the ship was made of a special metal, making it nearly indestructible. Meanwhile, after several hours, Black Adam woke up in Amon's room. He got out of bed and used his powers to heal his wounds instantly. He was shocked to learn that he had been imprisoned in the mountain for 5,000 years. In the living room, Adriana was researching the ancient crown when she discovered an inscription inside it. The words read, "Life is the only path to death." At the same time, Amon sat with Black Adam and explained how Kahndaq had been taken over by foreign forces after his disappearance. The people had been enslaved for centuries, but they had never lost hope. They built a statue of Black Adam, believing that one day he would return to free them. However, after hearing all this, Black Adam coldly responded, "I am no hero." Without another word, he smashed through the wall and flew away. Curious about him, Aman secretly followed through a hidden passage in his room, ensuring his mother wouldn't notice. At the same time, the Justice Society's aircraft was approaching Kondak. Dr. Fate explained their strategy. The only way to defeat and capture Black Adam was to make him say the word Shazam. Once spoken, his powers would vanish, making him vulnerable. Meanwhile, Amon, while running through the city, managed to steal a soldier's radio and sent a message to the military. Kondak's champion has returned. This immediately alerted the army, who began chasing him. Using his skateboard, Amon skillfully evaded them and formed a triangle shape with his hands, attempting to signal Black Adam. However, before he could escape, the soldiers caught and arrested him. Adriana soon arrived to save her son. She managed to convince the guards to release Amon, but shortly after, the soldiers realized that she was also a wanted criminal. As soon as she tried to flee, the soldiers attacked. Right at that moment, Black Adam arrived to protect them. One soldier struck Black Adam on the head with a steel rod. Without hesitation, Adam grabbed the man and flung him into the sky. The rest of the soldiers opened fire, but their bullets had no effect. In response, Black Adam ruthlessly eliminated them one by one. He then grabbed two surviving soldiers and soared into the sky with them. But just as he reached the clouds, the Justice Society's ship appeared before him. Without a second thought, Black Adam dropped the soldiers from midair. Immediately, Hawkman jumped from the aircraft, activated his winged suit, and caught both falling soldiers. He then safely landed them on the ground. But despite his bravery, it made no difference, because Black Adam was still standing, ready to unleash his full wrath. Black Adam unleashed a powerful lightning strike on the soldiers, eliminating them instantly. Moments later, Dr. Fate arrived and urged Black Adam to surrender. However, Black Adam defiantly replied, "Before death, I was a slave. Now, I have been reborn as a god. I will bow to no one." Seeing no room for negotiation, Dr. Fate launched an attack. Using his mystical powers, he created an illusion of Kondak as it appeared 5,000 years ago. Black Adam, stunned by the sight of his ancient city, was momentarily distracted. Seizing this opportunity, Hawkman struck him with full force. Enraged, Black Adam retaliated by electrocuting Hawkman and then dragging him into the sky, where he continued his brutal assault. Dr. Fate intervened just in time, using his powers to hurl Black Adam back to the ground. Now it was Cyclone and Atom Smasher's turn to attack. Cyclone summoned a fierce tornado and attempted to trap Black Adam with steel rods flying in the wind. But Adam effortlessly broke free. Dr. Fate tried restraining him once more, while Cyclone and Hawkman launched a final combined attack. Black Adam, now furious, unleashed his full power, sending a devastating shockwave that knocked all of his enemies back at once. Believing he had won, Black Adam prepared to leave, only for Atom Smasher to land a massive punch, momentarily staggering him. But as soon as Adam recovered, he struck Atom Smasher with a single blow, knocking him unconscious. At this point, the people of Kondak erupted in cheers, celebrating Black Adam's victory. He simply turned and left. Dr. Fate, realizing the truth, warned his team, "No one will pursue Black Adam. None of us are strong enough to defeat him." He then led the Justice Society to Adriana, having foreseen in a vision that the crown of Sabak was with her. However, Adriana denied having it. Meanwhile, during the battle, Aman had secretly taken the crown and hidden it in his backpack. Determined to uncover the truth, Adriana agreed to accompany the heroes to the ancient palace where Black Adam resided. According to legend, 5,000 years ago, Black Adam had entered the palace not to liberate his people, but to seek vengeance. His uncontrollable rage had made his powers unstable, resulting in the palace's destruction. Believing him unworthy, the Council of Wizards had imprisoned him within a tomb until Adriana unknowingly set him free. Meanwhile, when Aman returned home, he was shocked to find Ismail alive. Suddenly, Ismail pulled out a gun and revealed himself as a traitor who had been after the crown of Sebek all along. He threatened to kill Aman and Karim unless they handed over the backpack. But Karim, refusing to let such power fall into Ismail's hands, attacked him and told Aman to run with the crown. During the struggle, Karim was shot in the stomach, but Aman managed to escape through a hidden passage in his room. While the Justice Society was meeting with Black Adam, Aman frantically called Adriana, informing her of the intergang soldiers hunting him down. He had taken refuge in a nearby building, but the enemy was closing in fast. Adriana desperately pleaded with Black Adam to save her son. Without hesitation, Black Adam rushed to rescue Amon. Upon reaching the location, he saw that intergang soldiers had captured Amon. Black Adam demanded they release the boy, but instead, one of the terrorists threw Amon off a ledge. At the last moment, Black Adam flew down and caught him, saving his life. Furious, he prepared to kill the remaining soldiers. Meanwhile, Ismail had taken Amon hostage at gunpoint and demanded to know where the crown of Sabak was. Amon refused to speak, so Ismail locked him inside the trunk of a flying bike and took off. From inside, Amon secretly called his mother, informing her that Ismail had captured him. Upon hearing this, the Justice Society also joined the mission to save Amon. As Black Adam searched through the flying bikes one by one, he eliminated the soldiers mercilessly. However, Hawkman tried to stop him from taking lives, but Black Adam refused to follow anyone's orders. After checking every bike, Black Adam realized Amon was not there. In truth, Ismail had sent his men to distract Black Adam, while he himself escaped with Amon in a truck. Meanwhile, Dr. Fate arrived at Adriana's home, sensing that the crown of Sabak was hidden there. Inside, he found Karim, severely wounded from the gunshot. Karim believed he was dying, but Dr. Fate, who could see the future, reassured him, saying, "You will not die today. You will die from an electric shock." Hearing this, Karim sighed in relief, but then joked that he should probably quit his electrician job. Back at the ship, Karim received medical treatment, while Adriana was shocked to see Dr. Fate in her home. Fate assured her that they would find Amon. Soon, Black Adam and Hawkman arrived, bringing 2 captured intergang soldiers. Black Adam intended to extract information from them, but instead of waiting for Dr. Fate to read their minds, he flew them high into the sky and threatened to drop them unless they spoke. After getting the answers he needed, Black Adam let them go, but Hawkman caught them just in time to prevent their deaths. Furious at Adam's ruthless methods, Hawkman attacked him, leading to a massive battle that destroyed the house. During the fight, the crown of Sabak fell into Ismail's hands. Realizing the crown was too dangerous, the heroes reluctantly agreed to work together to use its power to save Amon. As they left on their mission, Dr. Fate received a vision of the future. He saw that Hawkman would die in the coming battle. Revealing his vision, Dr. Fate told his friend, "Soon, we will have to say goodbye." Determined to prevent this fate, they arrived at Al-Hadid Mountains and devised a plan to protect their team while retrieving Amon. As soon as the attack began, Black Adam unleashed his full power, instantly slaughtering hundreds of enemy soldiers. When he finally confronted Ismail, he was unable to attack him directly, as Ismail was protected by a magical shield made from Eternium. Shortly after, the Justice Society arrived. Upon seeing Amon at gunpoint, Adriana had no choice but to surrender the crown to Ismail in exchange for her son's life. At last, Ismail had obtained the crown of Sabak. He revealed that he was the last descendant of King Octan, and now, with the crown in his possession, he was ready to become the next king of Kahndaq. He then recited the spell inscribed on the crown of Sabak to activate his protective shield and fired a shot at Amon. But just in time, Black Adam used his super speed to save Amon from being hit. In that moment, Black Adam's anger became so overwhelming that his powers once again spiraled out of control, and the entire mountain was destroyed. Fortunately, thanks to the protective shield of the Justice Society's IT team, both Adriana and Amon were saved. But now Amon had to be rushed for treatment immediately. Meanwhile, Atom Smasher recovered the crown from the charred body of Smile and carried it into the ship. At the same time, Hawkman trailed Black Adam and noticed that Black Adam was staring at a statue of his son, Haru, placed in front of the palace. In truth, the mystical protectors of the earth had chosen Haru to bestow divine powers upon him so that he could liberate the people. However, as Haru kept winning battle after battle, King Don captured his parents. When they were about to execute Haru's father, Haru transferred all his powers to save his father's life. But little did he know that that day would be his last. For after giving his powers to his father, an archer from afar took aim at Haru's heart, killing him instantly. Witnessing this tragedy, his father, Tethys, realized that his son would never be pleased with him repeatedly losing control. Consequently, Black Adam decided to relinquish all his powers. He entrusted this responsibility to Hawkman, making him promise that after surrendering his powers, he would never utter the word Shazam, for without saying it, Black Adam would never be able to regain his powers. Hawkman then took him to an underwater laboratory and handed him over to a scientist named Emilia Harkad and her team. Emilia promised Hawkman that from that day forward, not a single word would ever come from Black Adam's mouth. In that facility, she had also imprisoned several other dangerous individuals. But just then, a strange stirring was noticed in the hold of the ship. Ismail's corpse was moving in an uncanny way. At the same time, Dr. Fate kept receiving the same vision over and over. He couldn't understand why this was happening, especially since their mission was already complete. Dr. Fate feared that if Hawkman were to die, the Justice Society would soon cease to exist. Meanwhile, after killing Ismail, Adriana found it hard to believe how easily they had defeated him. Then she remembered the spell inscribed on the crown, which declared, "Life is the means to death." However, before dying, Ismail had recited the reverse spell. That is, he had proclaimed, "Death is the means to life." Quickly, Adriana inverted the crown and realized that by doing so and reciting the reverse spell, its effect would be reversed as well. Only then did she understand that Ismail's entire plan was for Black Adam to kill him, so that after his death, he would rise again and seize the throne of Kondak. No sooner had Adriana unraveled this mystery than the crown suddenly vanished, and from the depths of the ocean, Sack awakened. At that very moment, Hawkman ordered a missile strike against him, but Sack retaliated by destroying their ship. Ultimately, the Justice Society decided to join forces to prevent the would-be ruler from ascending the throne, because if he succeeded, no one would ever be able to defeat him again. With the help of his comrades, Hawkman managed to wound Sack, and when Sack attacked, he was rendered unconscious. It was then that Dr. Fate realized that his prophecy was about to come true. He quickly moved around the palace. Dr. Fate created a protective shield around the palace and forbade his team from entering. He was ready to sacrifice his own life to save his best friend, Hawkman. For the first time, he was unable to predict what would happen in the future. Meanwhile, Hawkman couldn't let his friend go alone, so he tried to break the shield, but he failed. Inside, Dr. Fate confronted Sabbac, hoping that Black Adam would come to help him defeat the demon. During the battle, Fate sent a signal to Black Adam, indicating that only he could defeat Sabbac. Using his powers, Dr. Fate freed Black Adam from his restraints. The guards rushed in to stop Adam, but even without his powers, he fought them off and leaped into the ocean. At that very moment, Sabbac landed a fatal blow on Dr. Fate, breaking the palace's protective shield. Hawkman realized that his friend was dying and ran to save him, but by the time he reached him, Dr. Fate had already passed away. Now, Sabbac took his throne, and as soon as he did, a raging fire erupted, marking his coronation as the King of Kondak. His rise unleashed an army of demons from the underworld who began attacking innocent people. Adriana was ready to fight them, but just then, her brother Kareem arrived in his van. Kareem wasn't afraid of the zombies. After all, Dr. Fate had told him that he would die from an electric shock, not by these creatures. Meanwhile, at Adriana's urging, Amon gathered the common people to fight against the undead army. At the same time, Black Adam emerged from the sea and shouted Shazam, instantly regaining his powers. Sabbac, in his attempt to seize full control, destroyed Haru's statue, which was about to fall on Amon. But just in time, Black Adam arrived and saved him. He then confronted Sabbac directly, saving Hawkman's life in the process. A fierce battle between Black Adam and Sabbac erupted, but soon Sabbac gained the upper hand. Seeing this, Hawkman decided to intervene. He attacked Sabbac but was wounded in the process, just as Dr. Fate had foreseen. However, the truth was that it wasn't the real Hawkman who was injured. Using Fate's helmet, Hawkman had created multiple copies of himself, and together they launched a coordinated attack on Sabbac. Seizing the opportunity, Black Adam used his immense strength to tear Sabbac's body in half, destroying him completely. As soon as he did, the demonic army from the underworld vanished, and the people of Kondak erupted in celebration. Despite their past conflicts, Black Adam and Hawkman extended hands of friendship, acknowledging each other's strength. With its purpose fulfilled, Dr. Fate's helmet disappeared on its own. The Justice Society abandoned their mission to capture Black Adam, recognizing that he had saved everyone. Finally, the team returned to the USA. Meanwhile, Black Adam sat on the throne of Kahndaq, and the people urged him to become their king. But in one swift motion, he shattered the throne, declaring that he did not wish to rule Kahndaq. He would protect it instead. From that moment on, Kahndaq would remain free forever.
Make sure to subscribe to Film Reveal Decoder and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. If you have a favorite movie you'd like us to explain next, type "next" in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.